doesn't end well unless it ends. Can't just report the fucking obvious.
I don't care what a critic got to say, I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and
Just
run
a
it all back. I'm
motherfucking
the
jump.
new era, about to
Just
snap
go.
back. You ain't-
And we are back. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy and the other fucking guy in the room. It's been a minute. It's Wednesday already. We posted up the other guy in the room, Leo. Leo, good morning to you, brother.
Good morning.
And Leo put up the Nikki Bowles interview. Check that out on Monday. That's really, really good. We're happy to support her and what she does. That was so interesting. I listened to it again and just fantastic. I can't say enough good things about Nikki and what she's doing and continuing to advocate for children with special needs. And we definitely need someone like that. And people that do that are usually people that are put in those situations. You know, that's just a testament to whatever your trial is, whatever you go through is what your testimony is going to be and what you can help other people through. And just real interesting. Check that out. She wrote a book. Check out the book as well. Also, for you folks that are new to the show, how about hitting that subscribe button, hit that follow, comment below, tell us what you think. Follow me on social media, which is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, and we've been pushing out a lot more content here recently, and I think it's been excellent and appreciate the work that everybody's been doing, pushing that out. And Leo's got me a whole stack of stuff I'm going to be pushing out this week as far as that content as well. So check that out. Check it out everywhere. And those are the best places really to get in touch with me if you want to get in touch with me, have a conversation. I got to tell you, man, I'm hardcore. Anybody that knows me and has listened to the show for any period of time knows that I'm a pretty hardcore sports fan. Not only, I think the fact that I actually go to WNBA games and that I'm a season ticket holder, the things I like as far as sports and the depth of that is pretty wide. And I got to tell you, this is one of the craziest weekends, especially for football, that I have ever seen. And then to actually be there as well, in person. And I'm specifically talking about, in this case, about the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals have been kind of hit and miss this season so far. We've seen some bright spots, where they can get things done. And the game started out fantastic. They started out dominating against really a bad Titans team. And they have Cam Ward, rookie at quarterback, and he looked like a rookie. He looked like a dude struggling. I tell you what, that's probably going to be a game changer for him to have that experience that he had against the Cardinals and to be down at one point 21-3 and to come back and win the game. Now, I've seen a lot of ways to lose over the years. Grew up just outside of Toledo. Pittsburgh Steeler fan all my life. So I've seen a lot of Browns losses because I hated the Browns. That's the rivalry. And I've seen Browns find ways to lose that would leave everybody just scratching their head. How did that happen? And the other team, I would say, was in that same boat but has changed their fortunes recently would be the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions the old Lions are gone. They have a whole different mindset now. And the new coach 4 years ago brought that new mindset in. About halfway through the season, it changed. They missed the playoffs. And, since then, they've been a dominating team in the NFL. I would put them in the top 5 as far as elite teams. And I would say they're probably top 2 or 3 right now as well, the Lions, especially the way everybody's played and all the injuries. Everything we thought going into the season has been turned upside down and inside out. I mean, the fucking Jaguars are 4-1 for God's sakes. I don't think who was seeing that coming. So a lot of Lion losses. Got a lot of friends, Lions fans. Got a lot of friends that are Brown fans that will tell you that they've seen all kinds of new ways to lose with the Browns and the Lions. And then on Sunday, the Arizona Cardinals told the Lions and the Browns, "Here, hold my beer. Let me show you what losing looks like." And it all started with a play where they're scoring a touchdown. Now, I actually believe the call is wrong, and I could be wrong. We have a player that's going into the end zone, and as he's going into the end zone, as the ball is, I believe, touching the line, his hand is open. The ball's still on his hand. I don't know. Does that mean he doesn't have control? It wasn't moving or anything. But at that same time, the ball was touching the hand. He's opening his hand and drops the ball. Fumble. It's the Titans' ball. They recover. No touchdown. And then they have an interception, right? So after that, they have an interception. Guy gets to the goal line. He's going to score. The ball gets punched out, goes through the end zone. Titan ball at the 20-yard line. I mean, it literally is crazy that just and to be there for that. The whole crowd was just stunned. How did this just happen? The employees, as you're walking out, everybody's shaking their head. Totally insane way to lose a game. Well, we sit actually where our seats are, actually happens to be the visitor side because we wanted aisle seats. So we got aisle seats, and we're in the 200 area, which is super, super nice. Great place to see a football game. We got good seats, more premium seats. We sit just underneath the suites. Great place. I got it. I'm just still flabbergasted telling you about it now. But I didn't see this happen during the game, but I have obviously seen it since, as a lot of people have, and maybe you have or haven't. So we're going to go ahead and show the video because to me, I put this loss squarely on the coach. So here's the video of the coach going up to the player that dropped the ball. Watch his shoulder move. So let's see it again. Watch for the player's shoulder to move. So the coach is pissed, right? You got the other player trying to console him at the time, and then the coach comes up, Jonathan Gannon, and Amari DiMercato is the player that just fucked up. And so, as a fan, you really think that it just reinforces the fact that celebrations are great. We love celebrations. We love players that do celebrations and dance. It's been a part of football for a long time. I don't think they did it in the 60s. It probably wasn't until more the later 70s and maybe into the 80s that kind of stuff started, where players would dance and stuff. I mean, obviously, you're going to be excited whenever you score or, do things like that. But there's a whole dance element to it now. I mean, look, You have, they will, it's crazy. I don't understand it, that referees will penalize a player for doing some kind of demonstration and showing up the other player, but yet after a interception, the whole fucking defense can go down into the end zone and do like a group photo bullshit that they do. That's okay. If you do it on the field before the score, you make a big hit, tackle, and, jawing at somebody, you might get a flag thrown on you, which I just don't understand. But there's a great way to solve the problem if you're going into the end zone. You can dance, but don't dance. And I'm not saying he was going to dance. I don't know what he was going to do. After you hand the ball to the referee, to the official. It's real simple. The ball will still be in your hands. There's no chance of you not getting the touchdown because you decide to let go of the ball early. Now, we've seen some bad ones. This, to me, wasn't a terrible one. Can you find the actual video of the play itself? Can you get that one? We've seen where players did it too soon, like 2 or 3 yards. That's happened, which is totally insane, right? But in this case, it wasn't. It was actually at the line. And again, I think it was a bad call, but you still shouldn't have done it. It shouldn't even be that close. It shouldn't be a thing. And then we'll get to the coach, what people thought, because I want to know what you think. I want you to drop it in the comments. Because I've been looking at comments on YouTube, people posting the confrontation with the coach, and people leaving their thoughts about what they think. So, but we'll see the play first that we're actually talking about, of him letting the ball go. But look at it, how his hand is opening as he's getting to there. Right here, his left leg is literally going to be putting down at the 2-yard line. Go ahead and roll it. And the player behind him, he actually looks in that stance almost like he's starting to slow down too, doesn't he? Because of the way he's leaning back. I didn't notice that before. That's kind of crazy too. But the player behind him isn't. Look at the player behind him is leaning forward. See, he is slowing down. He slows down there and he lets the ball go at the goal line. But remember, isn't it still in his hands? Because all the ball has to do for a touchdown, all the ball has to do is touch the goal line to be a touchdown. I still don't know how that's not a touchdown, but it still was a stupid thing to do. And I think the coach, if I was a coach, I would be not happy with the player. And obviously that coach wasn't. Now, then the debate is, did the coach go too far? And it's a different environment now, both in professional and college. It's a different environment. Man, you can hardly say shit to a player in college now. Because if you do, on Sunday, the dude's going to be going into the portal. That's the world we live in now. And look, they're all grown-ass men. And I feel like as a grown-ass man that I need to be able to, when I do dumb shit in a situation like that, I got to be able to take that. And I don't know, with that angle, did he use open hand? Did he just bump him with his fist? But it wasn't a swing or a hit like they were like going to fight. You know what I mean? And you obviously don't want that to go too far. And then the question is, what about if a player doing that with a coach? And we've had players bump coaches and stuff. But that seemed a little bit more aggressive. This is more like the coach is touching him, wanting to make a point. Not like he's trying to hit him or hurt him in a way or anything like that. It just is crazy. So I want to know what your point of view is. So drop it in the comments. Did the coach go too far? Was he 100% wrong? Are players just soft today? Because I'm kind of leaning towards, I do believe that. There's a lot of soft players out there. That's just the way it seems. Not all. I would never say that. There's still a lot of those boys you wouldn't want to fuck with, but geez, oh Pete's, man. That's just terrible. And where I really blame the coach and where the coach should have taken responsibility and not spread responsibility around to everyone, that's a lack of discipline. With the way that the Cardinals lost that game is lack of discipline. There's no other excuse for it. And excuses are not acceptable. Not in my world. Excuses are not acceptable. Because in my world, you may have an excuse. Your excuse may be very fucking good. True. Still not good enough. You should never, the coach should have been taking on that. And I think every individual should. Every individual should have stood up, at least as far as the coach goes, as far as the running back goes, and then also I don't remember the player's name off the top of my head that fumbled the interception. And they had other dropped interceptions too. Like this was not a close game. It really wasn't. The Cardinals' defense played good enough to win this game. And really their offense did. But when you don't score in a whole half, it's 21-3, and then you don't put up any more points. None. And then you just make just the dumbest bonehead plays. And life is like that as well. That's why I love sports, because sports to me is the ups and downs. Everything, it just to me is what life is like. And finish the play. Finish the play. I'm a little bit of a trash talker, I would say. I would do that. When I was and I loved being a catcher in baseball when I was a kid. I don't know if they do that anymore. When I was a kid, the catcher would be in your ear the whole fucking time you're standing at the plate. I don't know if little kids do that anymore. Like, we would be talking about your mom, your sister, your pants. You're wearing glasses, so your 4 eyes. I would be running my mouth the entire time the other player was stepping into the batter's box. Did you play ball? What about?
I never really played competitively. So I can't say I have experienced anything like that, but I know it is for sure still a thing. I'll see it on social media. There's a few catchers out there that actually have like dedicated pages to shit talking on the.
I'd love to see that. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
You'll have to send me a link.
I'll send you a link for that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm just at a loss as a fan. Just at a loss. That was such a stake in the heart of fans who were thinking that we're not really good, but we're not really bad, but maybe the team can figure this out. There's some really good talent on this Cardinals team, and Harrison Jr. had a great game. He was getting the ball. He had a great game. Kyler Murray was getting him the ball. He had a fantastic game. So, it's in his second year. He's showing out. It just seemed like they weren't going to be, I'm not saying they were going to make the playoffs, but it seemed like they weren't going to be horrible and maybe could at least end up with a winning season. I don't know, 9-8, 10-7, because the whole NFL is upside down right now and inside out. And then you add the injuries on top of it with like the Ravens, who they're probably the best team who's only won one game. I think they've only won one game. Is that the standings? Do you have that? Because I didn't pull it up in front of me. And who would have thought the The Patriots turning things around. The Dolphins fell in the toilet. The Jets are the Jets. There's still some things that are normal in the world, and that is the Jets still suck. What's crazy is the Kansas City Chiefs and the Kansas City Chiefs losing 3 games in a row. Now, that's wow. Who would think of that? And we certainly, I had predicted at the beginning of the season, if we went back and could show it, it would be someday we'll be able to do shit like that. But seriously, I predicted that the AFC North and the NFC North were going to be the 2 toughest divisions. Well, it doesn't look like that now. With the Steelers atop the division, the Bengals are just as bad at 2 and 3 as the Ravens and Browns are at 1 and 4. But the Ravens are the best 1 and 4 team in the entire NFL, even with a backup quarterback. You just look at the talent they have, and then the close games that they've had. And the Browns, there's just no helping that organization, man. What? The Browns are beating. Nobody can out-Brown the Browns except apparently the Arizona Cardinals. Now you missed it yesterday. I didn't get to see it. Yesterday I got to wear my Brock Purdy shirt for the first time. I wore it and my 49ers hat. And it always, people can't figure it out when I'm at the gym. They're like,
what
aren't
team
you're a Steeler team? They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm a fan of players. I root for Brock Purdy because he's from here in Queen Creek and I like his story. I like the fact that this young man was the last player taken. And what a great game. Did you watch the 49ers game?
I've not been.
Dude, go back and watch that game. If you can go back and watch it, go back and watch it. And if you can't, use my YouTube to go back because I have it.
The YouTube TV.
Yeah, use my YouTube TV,
right,
dude. You can see anything.
Bet.
Do you know you could see any fucking NFL game you want if you use my YouTube TV?
At any point in time?
At any
you just
point in time.
go in there and...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the NFL ticket from YouTube there, bro.
Yeah,
that's a bonus, man.
I'll definitely have to check that out.
We got to add that to a list of benefits.
Perks.
We have perks, benefits of working for me. Yeah, because Mac Jones, who I've liked because I watched him and followed him at Alabama. I thought he was going to be a cool, collected dude. I really thought he was going to have a good NFL career. He started out pretty decent, as I mentioned previously, in his first year with the New England Patriots, and then it was just kind of downhill because, let's just be honest, the New England Patriots were imploding, and it seems like they got their shit together now this year. New coach, new direction. It's all good. Drake May doing another good young man, very similar like that. But I think of Mac Jones a lot like Brock Purdy. I think he's potentially that kind of player. Now, the 49ers are not going to get rid of Brock Purdy. They just signed a huge contract. And that means next year that Mac Jones will be somewhere else. And I don't know who's going to quarterback for him this week because he got hurt. Mac Jones got hurt. But the fight that guy had in him to win that game and stay out on the field after getting smashed, throwing the ball and knowing he was going to get crushed, play after play, and delivering that win, that guy is one of the toughest young quarterbacks I've seen in a while. Just tough. So, like I said, I think of Brock Purdy the same way. Love rooting for him. So I was rooting for the 49ers and in the game. And it was a great game, actually. So that's what I have for you for football. I don't want to get my Steelers were off, which was good.
Your bye week?
Yep, Steelers bye week. I lost. I think I scored the most points of the season for my fantasy football team and still lost. I think I've won once.
Wow.
It's pretty bad. Dawn's in a different league, but she's doing very well. And I hear about it every week, too. I do. I definitely do. I'm going to move on to something else and share with you guys a little bit. I share about my life. I'm very, very transparent, both on the podcast. I always have been. When I had my 4-hour radio show years ago every morning. I was very transparent then. The good, the bad, the ugly. And it wasn't always, wasn't always pretty. The things that, the mistakes that I made. The mistakes I made became public because I was in the public eye. People knew me. People saw me. This is a little different doing this versus doing local radio, especially when it's a smaller pond and you're kind of a bigger fish in a small pond. Now I'm a minnow in the ocean of podcasters. It's a big difference. But my approach is still the same. My approach is still just being real, just being authentic. And sometimes the things you hear from me are really happening in that moment, that they're thoughts, that things that I've been thinking about and sharing about that I'm going to express in that moment. So it's real, it's authentic, and I want people to get that from me. And I've had plenty of struggles that I've not been shy about talking about. Besides addiction, my biggest problem after, and some might say it was an addiction, my biggest problem after the alcohol and drugs was women. I have not been as successful as I would have liked to have been. I never expected to, in my life, to be married multiple times and multiple divorces. Well, most people that know me now, everybody doesn't know the back history. It just depends how long you've been following me. But Dawn's in my life now. Dawn's been fantastic. And it's been just a little over a year now. And prior to that, when I moved out here to Arizona, I had been married for a year. And then moved out here, and then last year, at the end of April, that ended. But it was Monday that was the final date for the trial for the divorce case. It went all the way to trial, which it never should have done. It should have been fixed during mediation. We shouldn't have spent tens of thousands of dollars on attorneys, which we did. It was just stupid on both sides. Didn't have to be that way. And so I have some advice. I don't know if I'm the person you want to take this advice from or not, but I have a lot of experience in this. If you want advice on how to have a successful marriage, then of course I'm not the guy you want to talk to. But if you want to know what else could happen, what happens if it's not successful, I'm absolutely the guy you want to talk to. And I thought that experience, I guess I never really thought about it. I'm just going to throw it out there. I always thought that a prenup was mostly for rich people or wealthy people. And I have new advice that every father should consider having a talk with their son. Every father. I don't care what your son is doing at all. I don't care if he's going to college, not going to college. I don't care how much money he makes. Every man that gets married, and even if you're older, this isn't just for young men. If you've been divorced before, you know how shitty the process is. And I had a really terrible attorney to start out. She did a really poor job. I ended with a good attorney, but it was very late in the game. And she did the best that she could. And I appreciate that. I appreciate she even took my case because it was so late in the game. And she did a fantastic job. I think things would have turned out differently on Monday if she had been there the whole time. But something that she told me really stuck. And that is, if I ever get married again, and I'm just sharing this information with everyone. If you're already married, you're stuck. In Arizona, it matters what state you're in, too. How things work out. Arizona is a community property state. And let me explain to you what that means. That means if you make a lot more money than your spouse, it doesn't matter. It's her money. Yeah. And see, we didn't really handle our affairs that way. We handled it that, she paid her expenses. She paid a few of the community expenses, but I paid everything else. I paid the house payment. We both put money down on the house, but I made the house payment. I made extra payments on the house. I paid for all of the upgrades on the house. When you come out here and you buy a new build house, you got to put in a yard in the back. They don't do the backyards. You have to do that. You should put in a water system, I was told, and they're right. You need a water softener out here. And then I had a reverse osmosis under the sink to get really good water, as good as, that's what they do with bottled water, folks. This is what they do with this stuff. If you look on, you'll maybe find some place where they do the reverse osmosis on the bottle. They'll even tell you. You could do that yourself. But I paid for all of those things, all trips, dinners, and you guys see my lifestyle and what I do and the gifts that I buy. I didn't realize that the gifts I bought myself were also her gifts and that you needed to keep score. That you can't buy yourself more than you buy the other person, because if you do, then you might end up giving some of your stuff to that other person. Yeah. But you understand, this person was not denied anything. This person got an upgraded truck from a type of truck, from a regular Ram to a TRX. Payment went from $800 to $2,000. She continued to pay the $800. I paid the $1,200 difference. Like I said, no part of the house, a few utilities, and the health insurance is what she paid, because the health insurance was through her work, and it was good insurance, and obviously cheaper through her employer. And if she needed money, all she had to do was ask, but she made over six figures. And she could get her hair done whenever she wanted. She could get her nails done. She never had to ask me for anything. She had the money. She had more money to do things with, obviously, than when she was single, because she didn't have to make a mortgage payment anymore that she had been paying on a condo. She didn't have to pay that anymore. That's another couple grand there to be able to spend any way you want. So I think, honestly, I'm being really honest about this, because obviously I'm not going to give all the details. It's not necessary. I was asked by a friend, 1 to 10, how I rated Monday, and I said 5. It could have been worse. Probably would have been worse if I kept the first attorney. There were a couple things I really wasn't happy about, but all in all, I just wanted to be over and done and move on. Take my hit and move on. Because in the end, and I knew this, there's nothing that she could do to me. She could have gotten everything. What wouldn't happen if that had happened is I wouldn't curl up in a ball in a corner or under the desk and cry and be a little bitch. I would keep doing the things I'm doing. And the things I'm doing, business-wise, are very, very good. Business is booming. Business is fantastic and continuing to get better. And absolutely, my whole life since, I posted it on Facebook, the Morgan Wallen song. Just as, I had to put something on social media, since I don't track any of her social media. And she has been having friends take all kinds of snapshots of mine, because I don't care. Everything on my social media is open to the public. I don't privatize it, didn't privatize it. It is what it is. It's life. At least mine. Mine is not fake book. There are those people out there. That's not me. Mine is just real. And that's what I do. That's what I share. So, I couldn't not put anything out there. I had to have some kind of release. But my life has gotten better every day that she's been gone. Every day. And I have no shame in how I conducted myself and what I did for her kids, and how she was treated and taken care of. I think women would line up to be able to get the kind of treatment that she had. And that's usually what happens. But again, I wasn't going to call up in a bowl. What nobody could take away from me, what I learned when I lost everything, 12, 13 years ago, and had to completely start my life over. When I lost a business that at that time was valued at $3.5 million. When I lost an $800,000 income in Toledo, which 13 years ago was a lot of money. When I lost a home that was 5,800 square foot that, my wife and I at the time had built, that we did the design. We figured out the rooms. We had a architect who put it together for us that was excellent. But it's not like the floor plans out here in Arizona, where you move into a neighborhood and they have 5 floor plans and you pick one. They do a lot of that. There's not a lot of custom building here. There's some, but it's not a tremendous amount of custom building. What gets customized is, what your amenities are and how you do those types of upgrades, right? Flooring, that kind of thing. But for the most part, it's not custom. Mine was custom. It's a beautiful house. Still a beautiful house. Lost it all. But what they couldn't take away from me at that point is everything I had learned up till then about how to make money, how to build a business. And I started applying those principles to building a business in fitness, nutrition, supplements. I applied those same principles from scratch with nothing. I started in the supplement business by coming up with $200 that I got from selling stuff on Facebook's garage sale site. So I don't do excuses. I didn't give myself an excuse. I don't allow or accept excuses from other people. I'm not just being a hard ass or trying to be a dick. I'm really telling you that I was broke, and if I can do it being broke, so can you. And really, do you really want to start doing that in your 40s, your mid-40s? Now. But maybe you are. And I'm just telling you, you can still make it happen. And I'm going to continue to make it happen till the day they throw dirt on top of me. And they probably won't, because I'm probably going to be cremated. So when they stick my ashes in an urn, until then, I'm just going to keep going, keep working, because I love to do it. I can't imagine not being creative, doing this. This isn't, this is something I always thought about doing and should have done a lot sooner, doing a podcast. But I can't imagine not having a purpose, not doing anything in my life, or just golfing. And I loved golf, and I want to golf again. But that retirement, that's not it, man. I want to be in the game. I'm not turning this shit over to all the young kids to have all the fun. Fuck no. I want to play in the game because I still can. Because I'm still smart enough to. I can still make it work. But that couldn't be taken away from me. And so I knew that going into this, too, going into this divorce, that no matter how it ended, no matter, you can take whatever I have today or whatever I had yesterday, you can take that. But what you can't take is what I'm going to make tomorrow, what I'm going to make in the future. You couldn't take that. I just want that to sink in a little bit. Couldn't take that. and I'm just back at the grind. Now, that day, I kind of went home. I didn't work out because the day was way longer than I expected. We were originally told it was going to be like 3 hours, and then the judge gave us all day, and then it was all day. And I just needed to chill out. I didn't want to be in the gym. I didn't want to see anybody. I didn't want anybody to ask me what was going on. I just wanted to chill out, watch some football, because I knew how I was going to handle it. As I've told you, that you have to own it, and I own it. The results of Monday, I take full responsibility for. It doesn't matter if I think I got fucked or she fucked me on this or that. It doesn't matter. I blame me. It's the only way I could change it. And I'm just trying to pass along that now. I would never have thought this years ago, but I grew up in a time where people struggled in their marriages, but they tended to stay married. That's, my parents, best example of that. They had some tough times, but they stayed married. But during my time, in my 57 years, it's gotten worse and worse as I've gotten older. The number of divorces has increased from when I was born in 1968 to the percentage of marriages that end up in divorce today. It's done nothing but go up. So I don't think the advice or, I don't think you should go into a marriage expecting it to end, especially your first one. And I do believe if that person really helps you build, but that didn't happen in this case. My baby mama, who I was married to for 24 years, 17 years, and then 7 in divorce court. So we had 17 years. She helped me when I was at the bottom. She helped me and provided for us so that I could pursue my dream. Think about it as being a financial advisor, about me being a doctor. And it wasn't school, but I was going through the training and the learning process of being a good financial advisor. So it was very similar. And she worked her ass off. And that allowed me to build that business. So she was an integral part of that. That didn't happen in this case now. So I do think that if somebody gets married and, your significant other helps you, but I still don't think that I'm still going to say what I'm going to say, which is you should still get a prenup anyways and take all of that into account. And I think both sides should accept it. If you bring it up, the person you would like to propose to and marry might not be, real keen to the idea at the time, but it's to protect both parties. And you can make adjustments if you have kids or the longer you stay together, how things are divided up. That's all fair. I'm not talking about being a jerk or not being fair and equitable. But I learned fair and equitable was, the meaning of equitable was supposed to be fair and just. And what I just experienced was not fair and just. It did not meet that definition, even though that is Arizona law, because you don't know who you're going to get. I mean, I don't even know if this dude was a legit judge. I think they called it something else, but similar. He does judge's work. Kind of think of it almost like a nurse practitioner. She's not really a doctor, but she does doctor stuff. Think of it kind of like that as a judge, if that makes sense. That's the best way I can explain it. I don't think he was a bad person. I just think he was, more inexperienced. And attorneys and judges suck when it comes to money. When it comes to investment accounts or figuring things out like that or the value of it. Because I remember one time, again, previous marriage, that the judge was going to split up an account, and I had to explain that I didn't want money. I wanted the shares because I knew what half of those shares were going to be worth. I just wanted the shares. Things like that. They just don't, attorneys suck at that stuff for the most part. But they can be good at the legal stuff. And I'm just saying and putting it out there, guys, if you've been married and you're back dating and you're thinking you might get married again, get a prenup. You do not have to be wealthy. But wouldn't it be better to even spend, say, $2,000 on an attorney than spend $30,000 or $40,000 in attorney fees, or even more? I've spent more than that before too. It's just going to be way the fuck easier. You know, the kids are going to be what the kids are. There's formulas for all that. There's formulas for most stuff. But put it in writing. Get a prenup. Even if you're both brand new, even if you're both young, and you don't really have shit, you have bills, you have student debt, you have, because what happens, think about this, what happens if you make more within a few years and you help her pay off her debt, maybe yours isn't paid off, her student loan, because the money you make is her money. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Even though that wasn't your debt, you didn't agree to that, to what school she was going to go to or how much was going to be borrowed. You didn't agree to that shit. Just trying to throw some examples out there that spend the money, get a prenup. And if that person's not willing to do that, because it also protects them, it protects both parties. Come to the agreement before you put the ring on. That's what's going to be most important. Everybody contributes differently, and I'm a person, I believe I want to be compensated for what I do. I don't, somebody else that's not contributing as much, and if she ends up making more, well, good for her. Then it'll work out for her. This goes for, I'm not just talking about this from a male perspective. I'm talking both sides perspective. That it's going to be something I talk about that I think more people should consider before they get married. Get a prenuptial agreement. So that's my 2 cents about that, what happened the other day. And so because I wasn't here is why we finally got the video up, which we needed to get up anyways. It just was a good time to drop it. It worked out great. Leo doing the work and dropping that video interview with Nikki Bowles. Check that out. We talk about her book Yet, and it's really good. Also, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X. I'm trying to grow those accounts. X has been a total fucking nightmare. I was steadily moving up, and I got just under 600, and now I'm probably back to 500. It just sucks. But I'm trying, and I'm going to keep trying until I figure it out. Sooner or later, I got to break through on this shit. And that's how my life has been. You know what? That's why, because I don't give up. I don't quit. Same with this podcast. I don't quit. I keep going, and eventually the perseverance is always paid off for me. Not because I was better or smarter or anything, because I just didn't quit. I kept grinding it out. Because I don't know any better. If you're not a genius, and I'm smart, but I'm not a genius. I'm not going to create some fancy software. You got to grind it out, man. That's your option. You have to figure out, what do you have? What skills do you have? And my skill is the skill of saying, I fucking don't care what the results are right today. I'm just going to grind it out until it hits. Because when I was in the financial business, those first 7 years sucked dick. They were not great. And almost when I should have quit, I didn't, and hung around for one more year, and then it was boom, boom, boom. It was fast and furious. The clients coming in, the money coming in. I had never seen or experienced anything like that in my life. Going from making, $50,000 in a year to making $50,000 in a month. I think my best month was over 100. I've had months over 100 back then. And then having to build a 7-figure business all over again, which we've done now. And I really, really love this. Both things that I've done in my life, I can say that I helped other people. I helped other people get what they want, and in turn, I got what I wanted. I helped people get results, and that's what I'm doing today. And now it's just more physical results or life-changing results in that way versus taking care of their money, which was very similar like that. And I just appreciate the people that have entrusted me with that and been with me for a minute now. And again, same thing. I grounded out doing when I first started really concentrating and building my business in this space, I didn't charge people because I didn't work for a gym where I was going to get paid shitty money to be a trainer. So instead, I made zero, and I would train some people for nothing so I could post about them, they could post about me, so I could get the results. I needed to prove I could do it first. And then once I had the proof that I could do it, for these people that I didn't charge, then I started charging. Here's my proof. This shows you how good I am at what I do. And just continue to build on that from there to the point now where, I'll do maybe a consult on fitness, but I'm not walking around with somebody with a clipboard, checking off how many sets and reps they do and that stuff. That's just bullshit money that is not worth it at this point. But just built up the whole platform. Same with nutrition. I don't give you a meal plan for, how many ounces of this or that you should eat. But I do a consult and I give you a nutrition framework of what you should do during a given day, and that how you plug that all in. And it works great. We get results with that. And I have no better results, as great a results as I've gotten personally and for other clients. My best client right now is also my girlfriend, Dawn. I mean, she is, and the transformation she made after being in better shape than most 54-year-olds. She's now at 56 in the shape of 20-year-olds. And not just being on the thinner side. I'm talking about having muscle. Defined muscle that you see. I mean, the lines are there. Now, maybe they'll go away for a minute after the competition. She'll put on a little bit more, but she'll stay in great shape. But that's my proof. Does my way work? Since we don't count calories, how has she been able to cut? Because don't you have to count calories? That's what they tell you, right? Dividing up counting all your macros as well. We don't do that. We count one. We count protein. But I have a method that most people can do, even if they're not going to compete, and it works. And we've been applying those principles with other clients. They get the results too. But that's, I don't know what else. Like, I'm going to continue to do that because I love to do it. I'm going to continue to do this. I love to do this. I'm going to continue to share my life experiences that I think can benefit other people. Because as I said at the beginning, is whatever you go through is what you can help other people with. That's your testimony. That's what you have experience with. And that's why I could share about going through, this process that you don't really want to go through. But let's be honest, as much as you don't want to go through it, you can't deny the numbers or the data that shows you're more likely to get a divorce at some point than you are to stay married. Now, again, I don't think you should approach the marriage that way. I think you do the prenup, as I said, and then you put it away and forget about it. And you try to make it be successful and focus on the success. You shouldn't be focused on when you get out. That shouldn't be it. I'm not suggesting that at all. And this is the best way you can make the two together. Do it, get it done. But again, sharing about those kinds of things. I could share about, how to build businesses and the things I do. People can apply to other businesses. Maybe I'll expand into more consulting there. I can't, show somebody how to build a 7-figure business yet. I'm sorry, 8-figure business yet. But that's what I'm trying to do right now. And after I do it, I can show somebody how to build a 7-figure business. And after I get to 8, I'll be able to show people how to do that too. There's just certain things that are going to be true, regardless of whatever the service or product is. There's just certain things you have to do to make that kind of stuff happen. All right. So I think that's enough about divorce. I didn't know I was really going to talk about it that long, but obviously, having just gone through this experience, it was very important and heavy. And this is my therapy. I've always thought of this as my therapy. It's a way for me to get shit off my chest. Just like my clients do with me. People come to me, they come to me for the testosterone. And then they find out who I am and what I've done, and they follow me on social media. And I can't tell you how many people that God has brought into my life, first for the testosterone, and then I helped these people with addiction issues. Or, hey, I don't know if I have a problem, Troy, but it seems to be like it is, and I'm drinking and don't want to drink like this anymore. How did you do it? And I can share with them my story, my recovery story. And I'm very hard on that shit. And I love to be able to do it. And I don't charge for that. That I just give freely because to me, that's like the gift that God has given me to be able to help someone else that also keeps me sober. And that I don't have to make money at every single thing. I need to contribute. To keep what I have, I need to give back to others so that they can get it too. That's my overall thought process or plan with this. And I just love the fact that God uses me in that way, because I know what a difference that can make in somebody's life. But if your hormones are all fucked up, you're probably going to be fucked up, depressed, other things going on. I just got one of those messages yesterday from a guy who was on testosterone, is off the testosterone, and over the last 6 months has just not been good. Depression, lack of energy, no motivation. And he said, man, this wasn't me. I've never been like this. And so getting that kind of stuff right does help you get your other things right in your life. It matters. And very interesting on that point, I'm going to kind of slide over to Charlie Sheen and Netflix. I don't know if you've seen this. It's pretty new on Netflix. But Charlie Sheen has a documentary now on Netflix. It's just 2 episodes. about an hour and a half each. And then people he grew up with, people that was in his life, also are interviewed as a part of this. And it seems very, very open. It seems so open. And the reason I believe he's telling the story as honestly as he can, that I didn't know this prior. Maybe other people did. Maybe this is not a well-kept secret. I mean, I knew Charlie Sheen had gotten AIDS, but with all the drugs he did, I figured that's how he got the AIDS. He was having unprotected sex with men.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I mean, think about the women he's been with. I mean, Denise Richards in the Netflix, she looks okay now, but at one time, right, Denise Richards was hot as fuck. She was probably one of the top 3 hottest fuck women at the time. And really, when Charlie Sheen was with her, she was smoking, man. And then others after that. I mean, he'd always been with very attractive women. He was kind of known that. That's even the role he played on 2.5 Men, right?
Yeah.
And then you look at the movies, and I even forgot about Spin City. I didn't watch Spin City as much as I did 2.5 Men, you know, and mostly reruns, you know, that I hadn't seen. But I could sit down and watch an episode of 2.5 Men anytime. If you're in a waiting room at a hospital, probably the best thing that could be on TV is if they have 2.5 Men. That would be good. You could sit and watch. It's funny shit. And Charlie made it great. He made it funny. But just, I knew all the movies. But the television work, too, phenomenal. And I think he's only gotten 1 Golden Globe Award. That's the only award this dude has gotten. I mean, he was in Platoon, for God's sakes. We forget all the great movies. I mean, this dude, yeah, he was within some dumb movies, of course, but come on, man, who isn't? But the number of great movies, wow. And just the family and growing up, it's a great story. It's a great documentary. And if you're an addict or a recovering alcoholic like I am, you'll really feel this. I did. And I've gotten responses since I posted about it on Facebook from other friends of mine that are also recovering alcoholics and addicts, and how they related to this too. Very, very strong. But yeah, when he came out at the end of the second episode and said that, and it seems to me, I guess it's the first time publicly ever saying something like that. That's pretty wild. I didn't expect that. But that's real honesty. That's, you know, how you deal. You cannot get and stay sober if you don't get honest with yourself. And this dude tried everything he could to not stay sober. I mean, he took enough drugs for sure that 10 other men would have died from. Almost impossible for him to be as healthy as he is today with the drugs that he took. I mean, you just look, and you know the story is true when he's telling it. I mean, the drugs that he was smashing. It's just crazy. So I did want to, but there was a part in there I wish we could get the clip of. Maybe we'll try. There's a part in there where the actor who was opposite him in 2.5 Men, I forget his name, but you know who I'm talking about. The accountant, the nerdy dude, right?
Yeah.
So he's in this documentary as well, and he mentions Charlie on testosterone, and then Charlie mentions it, and he's talking about he didn't know that Charlie, for a period of time, who was trying to get fit and cut and get abs and stuff, was taking testosterone, and how that just made him manic and pushed him over the edge. I'm like, no, that does not happen. So as good as I think that the series was, there's a claim made in the documentary about testosterone, and it's only a minute or two long that they talk about it. They don't talk about it a lot. But, and you got to understand that the people who edit these kinds of things, they don't know shit about testosterone. They don't know dick about that. They don't know to fact check that kind of stuff. And it was just totally crazy. No, dude. It's all the shit you were doing. Okay? And how your life is spiraling. Even, again, I've mentioned before when I got stabbed in a road rage incident years ago and beat up this dude from this redneck from Tennessee, that even though I wasn't drunk at that moment, the mindset that I was in, being an alcoholic at that time, contributed greatly to me being in that situation and what my mindset was. Greatly. This whole testosterone bullshit is just bullshit. I couldn't believe they even included it.
It was the cream testosterone too.
What's that? The cream?
The cream one, yeah.
Get the fuck out of here, man. You're taking, then that means he's doing TRT. He's not even doing bodybuilding doses. And it just doesn't happen with that kind of testosterone. It just doesn't. I don't care if he was squirting that whole fucking bottle and applying it to his thighs. Like, just come on, man. It's literally not a thing. I'm glad you found that.
So
Yeah.
Borderline, not a roid rage, but a roid disengage. And that the mind-altering gobs of cream turned him
It
into
does
a
not
raving
alter your
lunatic.
mind like that. Here's what testosterone does do. Whenever anybody brings up roid rage, which I think is total bullshit, and if you're going to bring it up, there's only a couple anabolics or a couple steroids. One of them that gets talked about a lot is called trenbolone, right? And so that one is used. That one, people maybe have more side effects from, or the potential of side effects than just testosterone alone, right? But just because doesn't mean you're going to have side effects, right? I get very few side effects from tren. I still do tren sometimes, even at 57 years old, even though I'm not competing. I do. I know that there's people out there that think that's stupid. I think they're stupid. I know why I do the stuff that I do, and I know how to do it right, and I know how to do it healthy. Can that tren ever put me on edge? Look, when you're feeling bigger, stronger, more fit, more confident, you're not going to feel like a mouse. When somebody else is doing dumb shit, you're like, I got to take this dude's shit because why? I'll say it'll contribute to that a little bit. But that's what it is. But it's basically, look, if you're an asshole, you're just going to be a bigger, stronger, more muscular, more confident asshole. But you were already an asshole. He was already a manic dude all over the fucking place. Okay? It can reveal that, but not really at those doses, I don't really think. It can reveal that, but it doesn't turn nice guys. So if his partner, not that kind of partner, if his co-star, what's the co-star's name?
John Cryer.
Him. John Cryer was in some great stuff too. But if John Cryer would get on testosterone, it's not going to turn that nice guy that he is into an asshole. It doesn't do that. Again, if you're already an asshole, it can reveal that. Charlie was already an asshole. He was already doing crazy stuff. And now he was fit, stronger, more muscular, and feeling that, and it came out in that way. That wasn't the testosterone. That was him. Don't blame the testosterone for what you are. So that's my thoughts on that and why I wanted to bring it up. Great. Watch it. Absolutely. It's good you're viewing. It's worth it. You know, it would have almost been worth it as good as it was. I think, you know, I don't know how much. I don't even know how much I pay for Netflix anymore. Is it 20? But it's that much now? I've been with Netflix a long time, and I'm not one of those. I'm a conservative. I'm not one of those. I'm not canceling my Netflix or YouTube or CBS or Paramount. I don't usually do that kind of shit. I don't buy into that. Of course, I do premium everything. $25 a month. I tell you what, just that alone was worth the $25. It's good. And the other shows that you see on there too. I mean, I still think Netflix is a value for. Is your mic? Can we hear you?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Because if you find one good show or one good movie a month, technically it's worth about $20, right? Because if you go
At least,
you
right?
go to the theaters,
Yeah.
it's like $20-ish
Yeah.
anyways, right? So I never thought about it like that.
It's a good way to think about it, though, because that's how you determine is it a value or not.
Yeah.
You know, if you're never turning into the service, then maybe, you know, if you have Hulu, but you're never accessing Hulu, you're only accessing, say, Prime Video. But when you get the Prime Video, you also get Amazon. It's all together, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if that isn't one of the best values still today, I mean, I don't care what Jeff Bezos is worth. The dude is worth every penny of that for what he created. It was a fucking place you bought and sold books, right? It was such crazy what he turned that into. But just the free shipping, isn't the free shipping? Even if you pay a couple dollars more for the item, the fact that you don't have to go out and get it and the fact that it's delivered to you and that you're not paying for that delivery.
And the majority of the time you're getting it within a day or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's absolutely worth it. And then to get the video on top of it, the content, I watch a lot of great shows on that, maybe almost as much as either Netflix. And then the other one is the Paramount. I do like the Paramount,
has
you know.
made some big moves this year.
Well, Tulsa King alone. I'm big into Tulsa King.
It just came out with the new season this year,
yeah,
right?
we just watched, Dawn and I. We binged 3 or 4 episodes a night and got through the first 2 seasons again.
Nice.
It was, again, for me, it was the first time for her.
Gotcha.
And I got to say, I'm going to admit this. It's funny. You should watch shit with me sometime.
Okay.
Because I'm funny. And the reason I'm funny is when something, especially it's a gangster stuff, happens and somebody's killed and stuff, I'm laughing. I love that stuff. I'm probably not right in the head that stuff amuses me, or something about it that I just like, especially when, you know, what I don't like is movies is when the bad guy is talking to the good guy way too long instead of just shooting him, because that's just stupid. Then something happens to the bad guy and it's like, oh, that's just so stupid. No, it's like, when it surprises you, when it's just turn, boom, boom, just ends it. Like, oh, dude.
If they're being
like
realistic, at least.
More realistic, for sure, right? But yeah, we laughed. I love Tulsa King. I don't know if you're supposed to laugh at Tulsa King as much as I do, but I do.
It's a funny show.
It is funny.
Yeah, it's a funny show. I think Stallone does a very good job. I think he plays that role very, very well.
He does
too.
so good, dude. I really believe, I've said this every time I talk about it, it's some of Sylvester Stallone's best work all time.
I agree.
Across any movies or any shows whatsoever.
I agree. His
best work. And to do that at 75 years old, or he might be a couple years older than that now. Yeah, it's all. I want to be Sylvester Stallone when I'm 75. That's my goal in life right now. And that's only 18 years away now.
79.
He's 79 now.
79.
Wow.
That is crazy.
And, dude, he wants to keep doing this. He wants to do more seasons of this.
I mean, it fits him as a person very well. Like the character of, what's the name of the?
I've heard him say it.
Of him.
Well, they call him the General.
The General. That's what he just fits that. Obviously, he's like Italian descent. Like he just fits the role very. He does,
well. But he never played like that kind of Italian character before.
Yeah.
He was more the tough guy Italian character.
Yeah. But I just think like his body,
yes.
like everything about that show fits Sylvester's like theme, I guess, quote unquote, like the
Absolutely.
bus. Yeah.
It's good. It's really good. And I just like how he also, in modern days, it would have to be so hard to build a family to make money like that in the mob. I mean, the mob still exists, but it's totally different now. And then, how you adapt to that, which he did, which other mobsters weren't adapting to, and why they wanted a piece of him because he's a good earner. He figured how to do it, getting into the
Marijuana business.
The marijuana, not only getting into the marijuana business, how brilliant is it to get into the electricity business with windmills and using government subsidies for your grow.
Yeah.
Dude, that's beautiful. It really is. It's genius, actually. But that's the modern, that's the modern thing, and how he does it. It's just
Gotta find
it's
the
just a
loopholes
great
where
show,
you can find them.
right? It's just good stuff. It really is. But yeah, we were getting back to the whole point: is the value. That show alone is worth it, and the other shows, the Yellowstone and anything by Sheridan, basically. That
Paramount's,
dude's
I think, one of the
crazy.
really slept on subscription plans because not only is it cheap, I believe it's only like $10 a month
It's
or
not
$12
so-
or something
yeah,
like that.
it's not expensive,
But-
and there's a couple different ones.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
always get premium
the premium
everything.
one, yeah.
You can get a little less if you're willing to see a couple commercials.
But not only that, but the UFC. I don't know if you saw that, but they actually partnered with, or they sold the rights to their the UFC to Paramount.
Yeah.
So all the the pay-per-view fights and all that will be on Paramount as well. So that's they're making some big moves.
Yeah, they're converting from that. I don't think they'll really do. I think the idea is not
to get rid of
to
pay-per-view.
get rid of pay-per-view. And it was a brilliant move by Dana White, and Dana's another guy to talk about. We had a short clip from him. That's something I haven't watched all of. Go ahead and show that clip if you can. That Dana White interview of 60 Minutes. And I'm not a big fan of 60 Minutes anymore. I used to watch 60 Minutes like most people did 20 years ago. But he gets interviewed on 60 Minutes, and Dana White he's also a modern day gangster. In real life, I think, dude just doesn't give a shit. He's a good dude, though. You know what I mean? I really like this. This was just a good clip of him that I saw. So, but yeah, took something that was a failure, really. All right. So 60 Minutes, you can find it again on, just put Dana White, 60 Minutes, and, see the whole thing. Did you get the...
I didn't get a clip. Did you
Really? Yeah, I
were you
sent
meant
you a
to send me
clip. Yeah.
I got the Arizona one. But
No.
that's it.
No. Oh, I had... I thought for sure I sent it to you. Because I thought I looked it up. This is just bear with us, folks. This
Yeah,
is
we'll get it figured
yeah,
out here in a
we'll-
second.
yeah. All right, so I'm gonna send it again.
Perfect.
Messenger. Here, I'm just gonna hit there. Messages. There we go. Leo. There. Boom. Now it should be coming across. Yeah, it's right there. It's right above the. It's already right there. It's the one right above.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So you did send it to me. It just
You get lost. I sent you a few things. Sometimes I'm up late and you just have to
going through
ignore
some
me.
stuff.
Just ignore me. Just ignore me.
For the morning.
Yeah, it's for the morning, so I don't forget. This isn't very long. Oh, cut my phone off there right away. But I think it's worth it to listen to because he's just excellent. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we.
Got some detractors too. You want to guess this one?
What?
Bully.
Bully? Yeah, that makes sense.
You don't
Yeah,
seem
that
so
makes-
bothered by that.
Yeah, I love it. Listen, if you want to be my friend, I'm the best friend you'll ever have. You want to be my enemy? I'm really good at being that too.
We asked around.
I just love that because I identify with that. That's how I feel like I am, that I'm a loyal motherfucker. And if you're loyal to me, I am loyal to you. And I roll that way. But if not, you don't like, I don't give a shit. People think that they can say or do things or post things and they're somehow going to do damage to me. Not going to happen. Because I don't know if the people think that they're the first ones that's ever thought of it. But it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I keep winning anyways. And just like what I started the whole show with, in getting a divorce. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Nothing they can do. Nothing she can do. I'm just going to keep doing what I do, living the life that I lead. You know how many times I've gotten threats? Oh, I'm going to expose this about you. That you mean what I've already exposed? You're going to do that? Or you think you can tell somebody something that they're going to care about that? No. Doesn't work that way. Not at all. All right.
Quick thing
Sure.
before we get off.
Yeah,
Jet
yeah.
with the message. Oh shit! Just emailed you and went to check out your YouTube and you were live. LOL.
All right. Well, we appreciate that. Hey, while you're there and listening, hit that subscribe button for us. Every one of you counts. It really does. Share this. Share our clips too, so more people find out about it. That's why we're really doing so much content and trying to do that now with the clips, is so that we can hook you. That's what we want to do. We want to hook you to come and just join us for our conversations in the morning, usually about 9 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we'll be back here on Friday with more. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy.
Whoa! Who knew I would make it this far? They hated, they never believed me. Yeah, I would never drop the ball. I know I make it look easy. Yeah, Mayweather with the defense. I don't care what a critic got to say. I got them picking up the pieces. That to me, you really playing with your life. I'm about to come and run it all back. I'm the new era, about to snap back. You ain't fit.